Hello, I am Gauze, and this is Compion, my channel documenting my journey towards a more fulfilling life through competence and connection. I'm trying to be a bit more engaged with my day to day life and be a bit more in tune with the long term ambitions and goals that I've set for myself. And my current project is on mindful creative productivity, where I'm giving myself weekly themes and topics to pay attention to as I go about the goals in my life. I produce a piece of poetry from my insights and experiences that week and share both my poems and reflections. And this week's theme has been on rules. I've been exploring the basis behind the laws that we have and the social norms that we have here in the UK, and also in different places as well, and having a look at the basis behind it and why we do those things and where did they come from, and looking at the scenarios where, in some instances, they have become obsolete and they don't do us much good to continue following those rules. I also looked at the instances where rules are completely filling their purpose and there's no need to make any changes whatsoever. And that has led to the poem called Breaking and Forming. Enjoy. Breaking and forming. Rules draw maps. They tell me where. Path made simple. A weight to bear. Some feel wise, a guiding hand. Others crumble like shifting sand. I walk their roads, but wonder too. Must every line be walked straight through? I pull at the seams, unweave the thread, step past the edge where fear had fed. Rules dissolve, the ground turns wide, a world unmeasured, nothing to hide. By breaking the box, ignoring signs of deep water here, to find trouble with no safety near, and it be far too late to regret, with my body and soul tired and wet, how far out I've swam. This lawless water may ask more of me than I am. No walls, no chains, yet balance is thin. Freedom needs shape to dance within. If I won't drown in reckless delight, I must carve my own, set them right. Not bars nor chains, but guiding hands. A frame I trust, a life that stands. Welcome back, and thank you for listening to the poem. Before we get into the reflection section, if you're liking the video so far, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future videos. This week was a really interesting exploration into the threads that kind of pull our society together at the moment. And thinking, looking at the rules that govern our day to day lives, the ones that I kind of consciously and subconsciously abide by, I got really curious about these rules and, how a lot of them make things really easy for us. And there's others obviously that make things seem pointless and they are just useless, in our current day and age. And when you really delve into understanding the purpose behind rules, you can find out obviously some are extremely fit for purpose. You can find out which ones are outdated and which ones are not to be messed with and why. And that you actually have a really hard job as a rule setter to ensure that, they're easy to follow, they benefit the vast majority of people, that they prevent exploitation or protect specific groups of people whilst not alienating other groups of people. And once you do that, it opens up this whole new world, at least in your own thoughts and ideas of what things can look like in terms of freedom, competence, responsibility in your ethical and moral senses. I'll use traffic lights for an example. We have our red, yellow, green to indicate, you need to stop or you can go, and the yellow to sit in between and getting ready to stop or go. And, the idea of a very easy color scheme to follow so most people can follow those things. Um, when I talk about being based on competence, I'm sure to some degree, if a lot of those traffic lights weren't there, we'd have a lot more incidents in car accidents. Are those there to protect the people who, without, is it there solely to make our lives a lot easier, or is it introduced solely such that if they weren't there, then people's levels of competence when it comes to driving, they wouldn't be able to navigate junctions? It begs the question to some degree. I'm sure we've all been stuck at traffic lights when there's just nothing going at any junction in any intersection. You can see quite safely around you, but obviously we don't break those rules. We still stay at the traffic light. So it was an interesting example to kind of just think over those things as, you know, it, if you decided to ignore those rules, you kind of step outside of the realms of which you can operate without a level of responsibility. But if you ever try to take things into your own hands, let's say you decide to cross a red light because the road is extremely clear, you then step into a new realm where you need to make sure that your competence that you're stepping into, I say it's competence that you're stepping into, it's not the right phrase. The decision that you're stepping into is one where you're demonstrating a good level of competence and also both ethical and moral responsibility as well. Otherwise, you just quickly become someone who just follows their own impulses and can quickly become part of the reason why laws need to be there in the first place. It was a really interesting mental exploration. You can quickly find that enjoying the freedom of choosing which rules you obey, you could end up in a lawless state where yourself and others could fall victim to your untamed impulses. If you want to enjoy that freedom of choice with regard to our rules and social norms without becoming a problem to yourself, you'd have to just end up coming full circle, into needing some new rules for yourself. And that's, difficult, interesting, and probably often unrelatable new territory. I'm going to conclude on a phrase that encapsulates this week of exploration around the rules that we abide by, or don't abide by. And that is, color of effective freedom is grey. Right, it sits in the black and white box. That's it from me. Please leave comments below if anything resonated with you or if there are any other themes that you'd like to see. Also, please share this with others if you enjoyed the video or feel they could do with hearing whatever I have to say. See you next week.